Tokens are the next generation for markets. This is said by Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the man who runs the biggest asset management company with over $10 trillion under management. In crypto, we'd like to talk about narratives, right? While memes, for example, is trending and addictive to be around, most memes are not long term aligned. Only a handful of crypto sectors are. According to performance data by CoinGecko, only three narratives managed to stay profitable in 2025: real world assets, layer ones, and quote unquote made in USA projects. So when Larry Fink said tokens is the next generation, I don't think he's talking about memes. This doesn't mean that capital aggressively rotated into real world asset just like that. What it shows is something more important. In a year where most narratives destroyed capital, real-world assets managed to hold it. While the broader crypto market consolidated or declined, real assets like US Treasuries, real estate, private credits, and physical gold continued moving on-chain under one name: real-world assets. My view is very simple. 2026 is when real-world asset actually starts to matter. By the end of 2025, real-world asset protocols reached around $17 billion in total value locked, growing more than 200% year over year. Tokenized real-world asset market caps are already approaching $40 billion. BlackRock alone has committed billions into tokenized treasury products. Many analysts believe that in 2026, the real world asset market could grow 3 to 5 times from here, potentially reaching $50 to $100 billion as institutional capital scales in. So, in short, 2026 is for real world asset scaling. So, in this video, I'll walk you through what real world assets really is, why it's fundamentally different from past crypto narratives, and most importantly, where the real opportunity is hiding, along with the traps most people won't see coming. But before we get into the video, make sure to like and subscribe to CryptoNinjas for more contents like this. Thank you very much. First, what RWAs or real world asset actually is? Well, in simple terms, it's taking real world assets and bringing them onto the blockchain. Instead of trading tokens that only live in the crypto world, like meme coins, for example, you are dealing with stuff that's already out there in real life. Think about, let's say, $1 million house in the US. Normally, you need a huge amount of money and a lot of paperwork, like $1 million, for example. With real world asset, however, that house can be split, let's say, into 1 billion tokens. You can buy 1,000 tokens for a couple of dollars. So you own a tiny piece of that property. Whatever income that property makes, you earn a share accordingly to how many tokens you own. And you can actually trade more flexibly on chain as long as there are liquidity. Same idea with US Treasuries. Those bonds can be tokenized as well. Buy a token, you earn about 5% a year, and cash out on chain whenever you feel like it. No waiting for market hours, no middleman getting in the way. The asset itself stays the same. It's just the way that you access it that changes. And this isn't some small side project anymore. This allows for true global access of any asset. What was once inaccessible by you in real life in your country, now easily achievable on chain. And here's the exciting part. BlackRock, the biggest asset manager on the planet with over $10 trillion in AUM, jumped in with its Buildable tokenized treasury fund. $10 trillion. It's very hard to picture, obviously, but to put it simply, that's enough money to buy Apple, Microsoft, and half of Tesla combined. So when BlackRock shows up, this stops being a crypto experiment. It becomes real financial infrastructure. And that's why real world assets matter. It's real, it's happening, and it's expanding at an astronomical scale. Why real world asset is different from the old narratives? Well, this is where real world asset breaks the pattern. Meme coins need attention. AI tokens need, well, promises. GameFi, for example, needs users and reinvestment constantly. Real world assets, they don't. They already have demand outside of crypto. US Treasuries, for example, it doesn't need adoption. Real estate doesn't need token incentives. Crypto isn't creating the demand here. It's upgrading the rails. That's why this narrative behaves differently. A good example of real world asset would be Ondo Finance. What they do is very simple. They take short term US treasuries and tokenize them. So instead of needing a US bank or a broker, you can hold a token like USDY on chain and earn T bills yields the same way US investors do. Same underlying asset. But now it's global, it's on chain, and accessible by everyone. Ondo Finance also have products for institutions, and together these products have attracted billions in capital, not because of hype, but because the product makes sense. Now, you might ask, why not just put my money into a bank? Well, fair question. In many countries, bank interest rates look very high but on paper. But high rates usually comes with high inflation and currency risk. If inflation is eating most of your yield, your real return isn't that impressive. And if your local currency drops, you lose again when converting back to US dollars. It's like getting paid more, but everything around you gets more and more expensive even faster. So, with real world assets backed by US Treasuries, you're earning yields tied to one of the most stable financial systems in the world. And on top of that, you get crypto native advantages. You get 24/7 liquidity, no lockups, no early withdrawal penalties, full on chain transparency, and global access. No US bank account required. And, not to mention the different DeFi strategies to earn even more yields on top of what you are already earning. But we'll get into that in a later video. How many types of real world assets out there? Well, right now, the tokenized real world asset market sits at about $17 billion, but the growth isn't evenly spread. Most of the capital is still concentrated in US treasuries, which make up more than half of the market. Meanwhile, areas like real estate and private credits and commodities are still early. They are growing, but more slowly, and they are more sensitive to crypto volatility and regulation. So, even though real world assets cover a wide range of real world assets, in practice, most RWA activity still falls into just four main categories. First is tokenized treasuries. This is by far the biggest part of RWA market right now with about 50 to 60% dominance. It's basically short-term US treasuries just moved on chain. They're safe, highly liquid, and that's exactly why institutions love them. You'll see names like BlackRock's Buildo, Ondo's OUSG, and USDY, Circle's USYC, and Franklin Templeton's Benji. Now, if you want more yield, that's where private credit comes in. This is real world business lending, but tokenized. The returns are higher, but the risk is also higher too. Projects like Centrifuge and Maple Finance are leading here, and this segment is growing fast. After that, you've got tokenized real estate. Homes, apartments, lands, properties are broken into tokens so you can get exposure without huge capital. It's still very early, but long term, it has a lot of potential. And finally, there are commodities, mostly tokenized gold or silver. But don't get it twisted. Real world asset is not immune to crypto volatility. Let me give you one example. Mantra. In early 2025, it launched as a Layer 1 focused on real world asset, compliance friendly, tokenized bonds and credit, trusted team. Price ran to $9, around $20 billion in valuation. People call it the BlackRock of Asia. Then the reality hits. Price collapsed from $9 to 7 cents in just a matter of weeks, from $20 billion in FTV to about $100 million in valuation today. Obviously, it's price manipulation 101. Allegations of founder sell offs, shady OTC deals, thin liquidity, public drama with exchanges. This warns us that not all real world asset is legit. Bad teams still fail. Watch the full breakdown on Mantra in this video. And if you're investing in real world asset just because their token price goes up exponentially, you will be very sorry. Talking about risks, there are several that you need to understand when researching a project. There is, first of all, regulatory risk. Global regulations are still fragmented and can change suddenly, which may put projects under pressure. Check if that project bans your country or not. If yes, well, better not get involved. There's custodian risk as well. The real world assets are still held by third parties off chain. If something goes wrong on their end, let's say like bankruptcy, it can become a serious problem. So make sure to check the transparency report every quarter. Choose teams that diversify their holdings. And finally, liquidity, which depends on the platform. Not every real world asset trades as smoothly as something like USDC or USDT. Some asset categories are quite illiquid with low demands, like real estate at this moment. So pick a category with guaranteed demands like US Treasuries or stablecoin yields. Owning a token doesn't always mean you directly own the underlying asset. Many high quality real world asset products are built for institutions and require strict KYC, making them difficult for retail investors to access. That's why understanding the structure matters. Real world asset is not about chasing fast gains, it's about stability and infrastructure. Overall, the advantages are clearly starting to outweigh the risks, especially as institutional players continue to push aggressively into this space. So here's the wrap up. Real world assets are not a short term trend. They are a real bridge connecting trillions of dollars in traditional finance to the crypto world. Even by the end of 2025, despite Bitcoin pullbacks and overall market fear, real world asset kept growing. Total value locked reached around $17 billion, according to DeFi Llama. That's a massive jump in a weak market. Looking ahead, many expect 2026 to be the year institutions really scale in, pushing the RWA market toward 50 to $100 billion or more. But slow down, don't rush in, don't FOMO. Research and pick the top performing protocols, not based on price, obviously, but on fundamentals. Good projects will survive and thrive. In shaky markets, even solid projects can dump alongside Bitcoins. That's obvious and normal. And sometimes that's exactly where good entry opportunities comes from. Just know which one is actually building and which one is just smoke and mirrors. If this video helped you, make sure to like and subscribe to CryptoNinjas for more contents like this and comment down below what your favorite real world asset project is. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.